it's Andrew with the Andrew Smith team at eXp Realty here. And is 2020 a good time to sell your house? That's the question we're looking at today. And that question, not the is 2020 part, but is now a good time to sell my house, is one of the most common questions I have received over the past 15, 18 years or so. It's right up there with, is now a good time to buy a house? And my answer to that question has generally always been the same. And that is, the right time for you to sell your house is when it's the right time for you to sell your house. Home sales are usually dictated by life events, not market events. What I mean by that is your family may be changing. You may be having another child. Your family is growing and the space that you have doesn't work anymore. So it's time to sell and move into a bigger house. It could be the opposite. Your kids could have moved out. You could be downsizing at this point in time. You don't need all of that square footage. So it's time to sell and move into a smaller house. Or it could be job related, a transfer. You're being transferred to another city or you're moving to another state. Those are the main events that dictate home sales. It is very rarely a situation of trying to time the market, which is incredibly difficult to do, if not impossible. I mean, let's face it, we will not know if home prices hit a peak until after they did and they're on their way down. Likewise, you won't know if home prices have bottomed out, if they've been going down, until after they're on their way back up. So you'll never be able to time those market events exactly. However, 2020 has been a little bit of a strange year with everything that's been going on with COVID-19, the pandemic, the shelter-in-place orders. I mean, 2020 real estate market started incredibly strong. And the reasons that the market were strong haven't changed because of the pandemic. As the shelter-in-place orders have been removed, or are being eased, I should say, we're seeing buyers return to the market very, very quickly. So what does that mean if you're a seller? Well, if you had been considering selling this year, this summer might be the perfect time for you to do that. The reason I say that is traditionally the real estate market starts to get very busy in spring. We weren't able to do that this past spring because of the pandemic and because of the shelter-in-place orders. So it is now looking as though spring is simply shifting to summer. So summer and spring are almost being condensed, if you like, into one incredibly busy 3 to 4 month period. We'll have to see how it plays out, but that's the way things are shaping up right now. What we do know is, per a recent report from the economists at Zillow, they're saying that showing activity has consistently been increasing since late March, and they believe that sales volume bottomed out in April. So in a nutshell, the activity of buyers bottomed out in April as far as sales, and the buyers are returning to the market. What has been slow to return to the market is new listings. New listings are lagging way behind. There are reports out there that total home sales this year, the total home requirement, I should say, we could be short by approximately 1 million units based on the fact that home sales were slowed and inventory has been slow to come back onto the market. It's believed that housing is going to help lead the economy out of the recession, which I touched on last week, but that's not going to be able to happen if we don't have anything to sell. Now, for a seller, or the vast majority of sellers that I have worked with, there have been two things that they're looking for most, and that's to sell their home for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Those are the criteria that the vast majority of sellers want. So what controls home prices? It's supply and demand. Right now, we have very strong demand that is being fueled also by very low interest rates, but we're lacking supply. For example, the two markets that my team operates in, Frisco, Texas, and Temecula, California, are running fairly similar. So in Frisco, Texas, for instance, we've currently got 2.9 months worth of inventory. in some perspectives, somewhere right around 6 months is considered a balanced market. If you have less than 6 months worth of inventory, it favors a seller. If you have more than 6.5, 7 months worth of inventory, it favors a buyer. In Frisco, Texas right now, we've got 2.9 months, which is actually 36% lower than what we had at this time 1 year ago. And although new listings are improving, sellers are starting to come back, that is slow. New listings are still down 16% year over year. And then when you look at total homes for sale in the Frisco, Texas market, they're down 33% from year ago levels. Now, if we look at Temecula, there's only a 2 month supply, slightly lower than what we have in Frisco, which is 45% lower than a year ago. New listings are down 33%. On the total number of homes for sale in that market is 46% lower than a year ago. So if you have strong buyer traffic, strong demand, but you have limited supply, what does that mean? It means multiple offers. It means prices get pushed up. And we are seeing that in both markets. I've been working with some buyers and it's cash. It's an all cash offer. And even on all cash, we've been outbid on multiple offers. We're seeing multiple offers appear in both markets. So that is only going to help you as a seller achieve one of your objectives of selling your home for as much as possible. Now, I don't expect anything here to change drastically. Yes, we have unemployment. Yes, there's some economic challenges going on. But right now, I went into the unemployment quite a bit last week or within the last couple of weeks, and I'll post a link to that down below. It doesn't look right now as though the spillover of unemployment is going to be a large negative factor for the housing industry. And I'm not going to go into all of that here today, but all of the major indices that we follow, from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the National Association of Mortgage Bankers, National Association of Realtors, all of the forecasts, the Z report, all of those forecasts show positive price appreciation going forward. No one is showing home prices coming down. So if you're on the other side, if you're a buyer that hasn't returned to the market because you think there's going to be a big drop in prices, you may want to rethink that strategy. The uncertainty in the economy right now and the uncertainty caused by the unemployment could put a damper on the amount of appreciation that we see, but it isn't going to force pricing down. The supply and demand that is in play, which is what controls pricing of any good, any service, any commodity, the imbalance between sellers and buyers right now with regards to that supply and demand is going to keep pricing moving up. So I'll go more into that probably in the next week or two with an economic update that comes out with my June market update. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you've got a home and you're wondering what the value may be in today's market, check out the automated valuation tool I've put a link to directly below this video as well. It's going to pull data from the MLS for you as well as 2 other sources to give you a rough idea of what your home might be worth in today's market. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.